welcome to a brand spanking fresh, hot out the oven episode of the 404 Show. I'm Jeff Bacalar, joined by the one, the only, the very skinny, the very lightweight,
very pale,
the very pale and frail. I'm joking, you're not frail.
No, I have a very strong immune system.
I'm sure you do, Mr. Russ Frushtick.
Ahoy there.
Ahoy!
Ahoy!
Oh, I didn't realize we're on the poop deck somewhere.
We are. I'm having a push.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know having a push meant going number two.
That's because you're improper.
Is that how they say it in the Queensland?
The Queensland. The Queen says having a push. I'm having a push with my corgis. They're running around my feet as I have a push.
Oh, darling, put on my gloves so I might have a push.
Oh, with gloves? Then you'd have to throw the gloves away, which I guess wouldn't be a problem for the Queen.
Oh, man. What
Lovely.
are you drinking there, guy? What is that?
Got myself some seltzer, the Jewish man's equivalent of what other people drink, water.
Okay.
I feel like Jews, on the whole, drink a lot of seltzer, more so than most people.
Okay. Once again, you're just proving the fact that I am the least Jewish Jew ever.
Yeah, I mean, no Jew on the planet plays hockey, so that's pretty evident that you're not really Jewish.
That was number one. I hate Florida, number two.
Well, I think young Jews hate Florida. I think that's a universal
You grow
agreement.
into it.
You do.
It's your second bar mitzvah.
Yeah, give it a few decades, you'll be on board with Florida.
It's not just the Jews. What is it with you seltzer people? Who, like, that is the grossest drink ever.
Why? With the well, do you like soda? Is it the bubbles that throw you off? Or?
Well, so here's what I'm thinking, right?
Sure.
You got a perfectly good drink. You've got lemon water, essentially. Is what
I love lemon water.
You're drinking lemon seltzer. So I'm using decarbonized.
Sure, and you like lemon water.
What? Sure, but guess what? I don't drink a sip of lemon water and go to myself, be sure great if this would make me burp.
I mean, the burping is just a side effect. Also, burping feels great when you do it, let me just say.
When you need it.
But the priority is not the burping, it's the mouthfeel of bubbles on your... Everyone loves bubbles.
Did you say the mouthfeel?
Yeah.
What the...
When you're... the forest floor, the oaky rosiness, the nose of it.
It's not a bloody fine wine, dude. It's a can of seltzer.
I don't know what to tell you. I was raised with seltzer in the house. I never really liked it. And then I turned 30 and suddenly seltzer. So I think it might be like Florida. It just kicks in a little earlier.
It just seems like an unnecessary
extravagance.
When you bubble it.
I don't understand. So you're against carbonation.
It's just like it's an unnecessary carbonation.
What is a necessary carbonation?
Soda, even though I don't drink soda and I don't like soda anymore.
Because of the bubbles.
Well, because of the sugar.
And the sugar.
Screw the bubbles. The sugar's the culprit in soda.
But you've said unnecessary carbonation, like there's an instance where carbonation is necessary.
Right.
What?
In soda, I think it is, because if soda wasn't...
Right, it'd be even more disgusting.
It would just be black syrup.
Yeah,
it would be sugar syrup. Sugar syrup.
I don't know. I feel like seltzer makes water more interesting. It's like getting water drunk.
That's great. Seltzer, making water more interesting since 1798 or whenever the hell they...
I don't even know when they invented it. Do you think, like, how do you even invent that when it's the 1700s? Like, how do you get carbonation into water?
Yeah, that's a great... I'm looking it up.
This should be our Explain Like I'm 5, but we don't have one this week.
So carbonated water... What's the etymology? Like, where does it go back? Where was it born? In 1872, it was introduced into the public in Britain.
Did they do like heroin or something that they injected into it to make the bubbles?
I don't know. I feel like they used cocaine for everything back then.
There was a lot of cocaine.
Yeah. So 18. Oh, look. Here's what it says.
Okay.
Check this out. The history. Okay.
Yeah.
We're getting freaking deep today. We're cutting deep in the seltzer lore.
There's nothing going on in the tech world this week, so it's just seltzer.
Screw Windows 10. In 1767, Joseph Priestley discovered a method of infusing water with carbon dioxide when he suspended a bowl of water above a beer vat at a local brewery in Leeds, England. The air blanketed the fermenting beer, called fixed air. You're with me here.
Oh, fixed air, got it.
Was known to kill mice suspended in it. Priestley found water...
Wait, they had to suspend the mice in the air?
That's
Like
weird.
they
right?
hung them on little mouse ropes.
Like little fishing line.
Yeah, this seems like the easiest way to kill these mice.
Yeah, let's just sort of overcarbonate them. Priestley found water thus treated had a pleasant taste. That's his shitty opinion.
Damn straight.
That's his shitty opinion. And he offered it to friends as a cool, refreshing drink. Then in 1772, Priestley published a paper entitled, listen to this, Impregnating Water
Hell
with Fixed Air.
Yes. Damn straight.
In which he describes dripping oil of vitriol,
Okay.
which is sulfuric acid,
Great.
into chalk to produce carbon dioxide gas.
That seems safe.
It seems real safe. Seems like this seltzer should have had a Surgeon General's warning on it back then. And encouraging the gas to dissolve into an agitated bowl of water. He then referred to this invention of soda water as being his, quote, happiest discovery.
Damn straight.
Screw you,
Bless that guy.
Joseph Priestley.
That guy was probably super racist, probably hated all types of people, but I gotta say, I forgive him because he gave us seltzer.
It's so weird. And then J.J. Schwepp,
Yeah, I know that guy.
who's the Schweppes guy,
Personally, yeah, I know him.
he developed a way to mass produce it
Yeah, to make it like feasible.
in 1783.
Sure.
There you go. It's old. It's been around almost 300 years.
Sure.
250 to be a little more accurate.
And thank God it's still here today.
And today on National Seltzer Day, we remember Joseph Priestley and his bubbly, shitty water.
Likely slave owner, Joseph Priestley.
The death many mice met their early doom to ensure that Russ Frushtick could have lemon seltzer in a can.
It's a great way to go. That's how I would die if I could.
Man, if I ever do a drunk history, I want it to be on Joseph Priestley and J.J. Schwepp.
That's a good story.
Derek Waters, if you're listening to this,
please make it happen.
Hook a brother up. All right, Windows 10,
yeah.
kids. Windows 10 hit the internets this week.
How carbonated would you say Windows 10 is?
On a scale of what?
Flat
mouse killing
Flat to mouse
it's
murder.
It's mouse killing, man. People are loving it.
I know. Well, I don't know.
Did you install it?
No.
Okay.
No, and we'll get to that in a second. So I read a lot of reviews. It sounds like people are like, I wouldn't say loving it. People sound like, it's good, I like it. You know,
8. That's them saying, it hasn't broken anything
it hasn't
yet.
broken. Like, I haven't heard complaints about it, but I don't think anyone's like, my life is changed because of this OS.
Right. I think people are more pleasantly surprised.
And a lot of that is just because it just reverted back to like XP, essentially.
Yeah, it definitely, I think this is the most evident in terms of like software where you're seeing Microsoft kind of listening to feedback instead of imposing their metro-tiled will upon people.
Well, I thought 8.1 was like a step in that direction where they're like, this is the least we can do in the shortest amount of time. Get rid of it, but still have it, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely a step in the crowd-pleasing direction.
Yeah. Now, but I haven't installed it. As you know, I have a gaming PC in my apartment. I literally only use it for gaming. I have a work PC. I use my MacBook Air for work.
Right.
This just exists for gaming. And for a second, I was like, maybe I want to install it. My fiance installed it almost immediately on her computer.
You're getting good at saying fiance.
I'm getting on it. Yep. And I was like, why? For the 3 seconds that I'm not staring at like a game loading up in Steam, is it worth like going through the process? And like, I posted on Twitter whether I would run into issues with graphics drivers, and people were like, maybe. And I was like, well, okay, so what do I need it for?
So that's my big fear, right? Like, you don't want to go into it and just break everything you own.
Exactly.
There's been reports that some games work better.
Okay.
Like, apparently The Witcher runs better.
Your knives are sharper.
And Geralt has, like, better flowing, glistening hair.
He's got, like, a pink streak in it.
Yeah, and you can see the definition.
Okay.
It's really because of
his codpiece.
Yeah, it's really because of the conditioner he uses.
Of course.
Nevertheless.
Yeah, really good weight.
It's, it seems like they did their homework. I know they reached out and kind of, I don't know how closely they did work, but Microsoft did get in touch with NVIDIA.
Sure, which is important.
And was like, hey,
hey, let's not F this up.
Let's not,
We're going to make this as easy as possible.
Because if Windows screws up, then NVIDIA feels that too, because people get bummed out with graphics drivers updates and whatnot.
Let me boil it down, though, because obviously I'm the Windows moron, and I'm sure there's a lot of Windows morons listening as well.
You're an official seltzer drinking Windows moron.
As I understand it, the big change that everyone's ballyhooing about is the return of the start bar.
Right.
And the excisement of the full page horror show.
Right. Which was so jarring and terrible. Uncomfortable.
The worst. But I did notice as I was peering over my fiance's shoulder that the squares are still there in the start menu. Like what? Yeah. Why did it was like someone on their last day of retirement was like, one more thing, Bill Gates or whoever runs Microsoft now.
You don't know.
Make sure they stick around, those squares. That's my life's work.
That's
those
my
squares.
dying wish. Keep the tiles.
Like, they know everyone literally hates them, so why put them in? Just because of a connection to Windows Phone? Like, what is the rationale?
The tiles have been such a punchline.
Yeah.
To the Windows experience over the last 5 years. You would hope, you would think that, hey, maybe the most ill-received notion.
Move as far away from that as possible.
But it's there.
It's there.
So I think it is a form of them sort of bowing out with it, but saying, hey.
It's like they're winding down.
Like, yeah, they're sunsetting it. Let's use that.
I don't get the logic behind that at all.
But I don't either.
It's really bizarre. I do like the fact that like they launched this brand new browser. And most people won't know because it's still an E logo for the browser.
So that's crazy. So Microsoft Edge, which is the new browser, and supposedly
it's
very
great.
fast.
Yeah, people seem to like it.
Still resembles Internet Explorer logo.
And as I was thinking about it, I think the most logical scenario is that like grandma boots up her new computer and she's like, I want to look at pictures of Jimmy.
Oh.
I gotta click on the E for that. Yeah. And she clicks on the E. She has no idea it's called Edge now. It's just an E to her.
My mother-in-law, she came in this morning to help watch Dylan.
Yeah.
And as I'm leaving, she's like, I need to talk to you about Windows 10. I was just like, oh shit, here we go.
How savvy is she?
I feel like she might be listening to this. So if you are Barbara, you're very savvy. Okay, earmuffs, Barbara. Close your ears. She's awful.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. But she's awful. Yeah. No, she's not. She's not. No, she's very good. Better than a lot of my relatives.
Sure,
Let's
understood.
put it like that.
Sure, she knows that Windows 10
She knows what's up, and you know what it is. She doesn't. Here's why she's great. Sure. She doesn't fear Windows.
Okay.
Like a lot of people who suck and they're not savvy, technically savvy, they're scared of computers.
Sure. Yeah.
So she's not. So
she takes it on.
Right. She goes, hey, let's see what this button does.
Okay.
So yeah, apparently a lot of the start menu stuff confuses her. Rightfully
the new start menu stuff.
Rightfully so, because I do understand it's quite a leap if you are used to one way of functioning. Anyway, that's the quickie sort of stylistic take on Windows 10.
Yeah.
There's some other stuff we need to get into before we move on.
I honestly have no idea.
So you know nothing about the privacy stuff?
No.
You don't know anything about that?
No, you didn't put a link in the rundown, so how was I supposed to know?
Oh, right, because I wanted to drive this. So there's a massive privacy freak out over this.
I heard there was something with Wi-Fi sharing. Is that what you're talking about?
So there's a little bit of weirdness there, and maybe that's too into the weeds. But this is a more general and concerning issue for most people.
Sure.
Not unlike the laundry list of settings that are available for you to tick and untick in terms of like your Google experience, where location history,
Facebook, your privacy
stuff. A lot of that's baked into Windows 10.
Oh, okay.
To the point where they're going to sell your information. They're going to share your stuff.
And it's on by default? Oh, Windows.
Which, when you really think about it, is like why it's free.
Right.
Right? So, like, they just want you in on that. They want you they want you sucking on that teat.
Yeah.
So that you can then pass along your valuable data.
Yep.
In this age where nobody really wants to pay for anything.
And you have to like dig in the settings to get to that stuff?
Apparently it's not that much of an excavation, but you
would need to know to look for it.
Yeah, and you can do it on the install. You just have to do like a
Custom.
the customized installation. You can do it after the fact as well, and there's plenty of guides, and I'm pretty sure we're putting up something on CNET about that as well.
Yeah.
But you got to be aware of that because there's a lot of that baked into the mentality of Windows 10.
Now, let me ask you something. Do you actually get, when you see that, like, we're going to take your usage data, or we're going to, like, use your testing data,
right.
Does that stuff freak you out personally?
You got to read it. You got to read that quick little thing. I'm not saying you got to read the 49 pages of terms of service, but you got to read that quick blurb and really digest and unpack what it's saying.
Sure.
I'll be honest. Most of my life is on Google.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot. There's some stuff that I opt out of.
Sure.
But most of it I'm okay with.
Yeah.
And, say what you will. I got a buddy who freaks out over that shit.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, I got to manually turn on GPS.
Yeah.
Dude, you're walking around with a GPS transponder in your freaking pocket 24/7.
What is going to happen? Like, there's going to be a CIA dude with a sniper rifle on the roof
now, look,
tracking his GPS.
There's people who will make fun of that side way of thinking, being like, oh, that's how it begins.
Right.
And it's a slippery slope, and soon you just... right, sure.
It
fine.
probably would begin there.
I live in the real world where, like, hey... this shit's super useful.
Right. And also the government is not nearly that coordinated with anything.
Yeah, I think people give the government too much credit. Anyway, so that's where the privacy stuff is sort of orbiting right now.
Yeah, that's potentially icky, especially if they're doing stuff like taking your email address and then giving it to people to like sell stuff.
It's a big deal. They'll associate your email address with your Windows login, and there's a lot of icky stuff.
Yeah.
There's a fantastic... do yourself a favor if you really want to settle this now, and I'm sure someone from CNET's going to be upset for me sending you here.
Yeah.
But search for the website Rock Paper Shotgun.
Oh yeah.
And
website.
They did a real great breakdown / how-to on why this is the case in Windows 10 and the steps you can take to opt out of all this sort of privacy stuff. So yeah, go do that.
Okay.
All right. Other than that, Windows, you've come a long way.
Yeah.
You've come a long way from... what was your first Windows?
3.1?
3.1?
I guess 3.1, because I remember using DOS on my grandparents' computer, so I must have whatever the it probably was 3.1.
Right. I mean, so apparently there was a Windows 1 that is before our time.
Right. I definitely have never... I was watching a video that was like going through the history, and I had never seen one.
Right. So that was 1985.
And then there was a version where like they allowed for overlapping windows, which I didn't even realize that wasn't a feature in Windows 1. It
was like a huge deal.
A huge deal.
Windows 2.0, which was 2 years after 1.0, came out in December of 87.
Yeah.
It was basically this, at the time, from what I gather, and again, I was 5 when that OS came out.
Yeah, what else was happening in your pooping your pants?
I was not 5.
No?
At 5 years old?
Probably once in a while.
I guess. Maybe like a real emotional trip to Toys R Us or something like that. That was introduced, the overlapping windows. And then Windows 3.0 was 1990.
Okay, that was probably my first.
And then offered better multitasking of older MS-DOS-based apps. There was also a lot of color introduced in 3.0.
Sure.
And then 3.1 was like the one you probably had for a while, because that lasted until, you guessed it, Windows 95.
Oh, Windows 95 is a big one.
I remember, this is crazy. I got Windows 95 as like a gift.
Yeah.
Like my
was
aunt
like a
bought
thing.
me a box. It was like, happy birthday.
Windows
Here's
95.
Windows 95.
It's really bizarre.
Install it.
Before we move on to Windows 95, I do want to say one Windows 3.1 story, which was I was playing a game called Wolfenstein 3D.
Oh, that little game?
Which is one of the first-person shooters ever made, where you shoot Nazis. And I was playing it because every time I would visit my grandparents in California, while I was there for the week, they'd like let me buy a computer game that would keep me occupied, me and my brother. Mm-hmm. And so we got Wolf 3D, which is really appropriate for a 7-year-old shooting really bloody Hitler. And they were very clear with me, though. They said, when our cleaning lady comes in, you have to lower the volume because she's German. And the game is filled with like German curse words.
Stop it.
Shiza! And stuff like that. So that was really memorable.
They all scream the same thing.
And that was also the first time I ever used a cheat code. Goobers was the cheat code.
What did that give you? God mode?
All sorts of... It was a delight. God mode, turned on infinite ammo. Oh my God, it was amazing.
I can't wait to tell my kid, like, when I was your age, there was only one code you needed for Doom. It was God. You just typed in God, right? Is that
You
what
were
it was?
God.
And you were God. You can do anything. My favorite thing in Doom was the no clipping.
Oh, yeah.
cheat.
You just fly through walls and stuff. Yeah. Amazing.
It's pretty great.
Windows 95, I had a very sincere memory that sticks with me to this day because it perpetrates a fear that I have. One of these weird fears that people have. Mine is moldy bread. I'm like a little bit terrified of moldy bread.
How does that tie into Windows 95?
So when Windows 95 launched, it launched alongside Encarta. And that Encarta included like 12 videos that you can watch in Windows. And watching a video on your computer was a big deal back then. And there were numerous videos. There was like moon landing.
Do you remember the one video that was in there?
I mean, there was like a few. There's one that I remember, but
that's moldy bread?
moldy bread was in there.
There's a video of moldy bread.
It was speeding up. It was a time lapse of showing bread growing mold, and it freaked me out and still freaks me out to this day.
That is kind of funny. Yeah, I want to find that on YouTube.
I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Okay, but there's also another video, a music video.
Okay.
I remember included on Windows 95. One of the best music videos of all time.
Right. I don't remember what it was, though.
Now, I don't know if this was like a special thing that I got through the computer.
No, I feel like there was something that was bundled with it.
Now, I know. So I know exactly what it is, but I kind of...
You want to try to get me there?
I don't know if I want to get you there because I want you to like remember it because it was truly included with Windows 95.
It wasn't like REM.
No, but it was a band from 1994...
Pearl Jam?
Nope, a 4-piece.
I don't know.
The video was a throwback of an old TV show.
Oh, Weezer.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly, right.
Was that now do you recall that?
Sort of rings a bell, but I was not a big Weezer kid back then. So
someone write in and tell me if I'm wrong, but I really vividly remember Buddy Holly being sort of baked into Windows 95, that video from Happy Days.
Odd.
The Happy Days video.
Very odd. Great video.
Great video. All right. Then Windows NT was introduced, which became the first ever 32-bit version of Windows.
Yeah. By the way, I still have no idea what 16 versus 32-bit OS means.
It's just like an processor architecture sort of thing.
And faster, I guess?
The more, the better.
Okay.
A 64-bit is
Does that exist yet?
It does.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that's what they all are now.
Sure. Why not?
You don't have to worry your pretty face about
it.
stuff like that. We'll worry about that on a more geekier, granular show. Windows 98 was released in June of 1998. And then my favorite time for Windows starts now when you had Windows 2000, which was basically Windows NT, but sort of consumerized. If you know what I mean.
Did we miss ME in this process?
No, because that came after. Okay. Windows Millennium Edition, also known as the Cluster F Edition, was probably the first awful version of Windows.
Why would you have 2000 and ME? Isn't that really complicated?
I just don't know what to tell you.
And was it like just a boiled down version of 2000? I feel like 2000 came after, no?
It was a stopgap.
Okay.
Between 98 and XP. So it just sort of like, it was just like an incremental,
Okay.
like, hey, this is the bridge that's going to get you to XP.
Sure.
And then, of course, Windows XP, my favorite OS.
Terrific.
Oh, what a great OS.
XP was terrific. People stayed on XP, like, a lot of them through for as long as you possibly could.
I am willing to bet there is a significant amount of corporations out there still running XP.
Is it still supported?
I believe they recently said they're stopping it.
Yeah.
They're going to stop support.
Crazy.
Then comes along Windows Vista, and the plane crashes into the effing mountain.
That was a disaster.
Oh, my God.
I don't even know any feature of Windows Vista apart from it sucked, like serious hardcore sucking.
I think it was... There was nothing redeeming about it.
There was something about see-through windows that they made. Arrow. See-through windows.
People really hated it.
Yeah, it was bad.
I think my parents' laptop's still running that pile of dog shit, so we're going to have to fix that.
Yeah.
I believe anyone with Vista or above can upgrade for free. Then you had Windows 7, which was definitely an improvement.
Yeah, Windows 7 was fine.
And I kind of do like Windows 8.1.
Yeah, 8
I
was
didn't like
terrible.
8, but 8.1
But even
definitely-
8.1 had the like hot corner crap that you
Yeah.
couldn't turn off, where it's like, oh, I'm on the right side of the screen. I better take over the entire computer. That
Right.
makes great sense.
Yeah, it's a weird, little
Ugh.
upgrade. And now we're at Windows 10. So
Which
there
is
you
really
have it.
just like a return to Windows 2000.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Like they essentially just dialed it back to Windows 2000.
And there you go, 30 years of Windows.
Awesome. And all I want to do is run Wasteland 2. That's all I want.
So you're saying that's the game.
I've been playing that for the last month or so. It's
I
great.
gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's a really good game.
Speaking of things to check out, oh my God, do you know what today is?
Friday?
Yes,
July
Friday,
31st?
July 31st. It's Mother Effin' Wet Hot American Summer
Ah, big day.
Day. Huge.
Big day.
You know how I feel
I
personally.
know. You've been obsessed with this movie, I feel like, since it came out. Or maybe in
I wanna
DVD
say,
form.
maybe like since 03.
03.
Came
It's
out
been-
in 01.
Sure, we're talking about over a decade.
Definitely. This movie's 14 years old.
And now this series comes out, which is literally like a prequel series to the movie with the same actors, obviously made 10 years in the future, but they're pretending to be a month younger in the movie.
Right, which is hilarious
Pretty funny.
in itself.
And I feel like in terms of like build up of like classic comedies, this is on par with like the Arrested Development like fervor,
I think so.
at least for fans that are fans of Red Hot American Summer.
It's definitely not on the radar as prominently.
No, sure, not as broadly known.
But I think it's more of a cult classic
Yeah.
than Arrested Development, where Arrested Development like had this amazing mainstream success and
Well,
still got canceled.
It didn't really have a mainstream success until it after got canceled.
Yeah, I guess, but for whatever reason, I don't classify Arrested as a cult classic.
Because it crossed over eventually.
Yeah, whereas Wet Hot still sort of.
Yes, I agree. It has never really been like a blockbuster massive success.
But in our generational circles,
Very-
has just become
Very impactful.
without a doubt the sort of like comedy of our generation in many ways.
Which is ironic because it's not really. I guess it is. I guess that's sort of. When is it set? It's
Set in 81.
81. So it's before I was born.
Right, it was before I was born. It was a year before I was born.
I think my generation's comedy is probably, sad to say, Can't Hardly Wait.
Are we not part of that same generation? What the hell? You're 84?
I was born in 83.
And I was born 82.
We're not looking at that generation. Our generation is the like early 90s generation.
Totally. But what I'm saying, but the fact is that that movie came out
Yes, I understand.
at the perfect
I
time.
understand.
And you know what's crazy? Can't Hardly Wait. When does that come out? 96?
I think it was 95, 4 or 5.
I want to say 96 or 97.
Why? What is your point?
My point is that, so it was 98.
Wow.
It's only 3 years between that and Wet Hot.
No, I understand. It's just set in our time period is what I'm saying.
Exactly. Nevertheless, any which way you slice it, the fondness we have for this movie cannot be expressed.
It is an excellent movie.
It is so funny, and at the time got destroyed by
Yeah.
the critics.
Yeah.
And now, when you compare the Rotten Tomatoes score of Wet Hot the movie and Wet Hot the show,
Yeah.
I think the show has like 97%,
Oh, really?
and the movie had 27.
I haven't looked at the reviews of it at all. I've been kind of a little bit dreading it
Me too.
after the disaster that was the Arrested Development season.
They're doing more of those apparently.
God,
I know.
someone.
Something very odd about that season.
Well, and this is why I was so worried about Wet Hot, is because the big reason why that season fails is a scheduling reason.
right.
That they couldn't have all these stars who really became stars after the show together at once. So they needed to shoot it in such a way that like each person has their own little storyline, when in truth, Arrested Development succeeded when
They were all in the same shot.
all together.
Yeah.
Like, and how the family interplayed with one another. So, and this is sort of the same situation. Like, Paul Rudd is one of the biggest stars on the planet right now because of Ant-Man.
But even before that.
Even before that, but still, Ant-Man definitely pushed him into another level. And a lot of these people are, granted, a lot of them are not like rocket huge stars, but still like reasonably well-known people.
Sure.
So getting like how much of this show is like individual scenes, although the original movie was individual scenes with like pairs for the most part too.
They did pair off a bunch, But what you're getting at is totally right. They got everyone.
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
everyone to be there, from what I understand, at relatively the same time.
They didn't. Did they film it at the same location? Probably not.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I would guess not, because I think it was filmed in like Pennsylvania or something. They probably found somewhere in California.
I mean, you build that anywhere.
Yeah.
But they seem to be able to pull it off. I remember saying to myself, I'm not going to read any reviews because
you want to go in fresh.
I want to go in fresh, and then they were unavoidable.
I mean, I have avoided them, so I guess not.
All right. Well, I'm about to say something you might not.
I don't want to know.
All right. Well, no, I already said it with Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, that it's been good.
Yeah,
like,
people love
seem
it.
to really
love it.
Okay, great. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
It's amazing. You really only need Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to sound so.
I don't know.
It's going to sound so, contrived, but you only need it.
There have been times when I've hit the bottom of the barrel with Netflix.
I feel like there are at least 12 series that I could watch.
But I've watched all of them. Like I've watched X-Files. I've watched West Wing.
I'm talking about new
Gilmore
original
Girls.
stuff.
Oh,
wait a minute, Gilmore Girls?
I love Gilmore Girls.
All right, that's a story for another time.
You're talking about original series.
Yes.
So in terms of original series, I actually still watch. Let's see.
So let's list them off.
Okay.
You got Orange is the New Black.
I still watch that and enjoy it.
So you mean you still, like, you just watch?
Like, I haven't stopped watching. Like, there are shows, like, for example, the Kevin Spacey House of Cards.
You stopped that?
Stopped watching House of Cards.
Why?
Because after season 2 was awful, and I watched one episode of season 3, I guess, and I was like, I have no interest in this whatsoever.
That's weird, because people seem to still really enjoy it.
It got so hammy and outlandish. Like, season 2, I didn't like at all.
Okay.
There was literally a hamster in season 2.
House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Black Mirror. Even though I'm sorry, you can't include that. That's not.
Yeah, that's not an original. I watched one episode of that, the pig effing episode.
You didn't like?
I thought it was amazing. I just couldn't emotionally watch another episode.
Oh no, they're all unrelated.
I know. It's just, dude, it's been tough to motivate.
That's the most traumatic one.
Okay,
for sure.
It was tough.
How insane was that?
It was insane.
You keep watching that pilot and you're like, what the is this gonna keep going?
It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
I feel like what else is there? Daredevil.
I love. Love the first season, although I'm a little worried that the second season might not be able to match that.
Right. I've heard some stuff about that as well,
okay.
but I don't think you really need to worry too much about that.
Sure.
You got Wet Hot.
Yeah.
You've got apparently everyone is super in love with Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, I like that show. You're right.
Right? You got that.
Yeah.
You've got Bloodline.
I haven't watched that.
Everyone loves Bloodline.
Do they?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
There's a lot of original comedy.
Yeah.
Original comedy stand-up things. You've got...
You're so supportive. It's like you're doing a TED Talk on how amazing Netflix is.
I'm just saying, like, there's...
I know. I watch it too. The problem with all this...
Sense8, even
not
Sense8.
really a problem.
Yeah.
Is that I end up, finishing an entire series over a weekend or whatever, a week, and then it's another year before Orange is the New Black comes out. So it's like, whereas something would be drawn out and I'd be like digesting it like Game of Thrones over a series of months, you go through these so quickly that if it was a normal network and this is the number of shows they had, it'd be fine. But because you go through it so quickly, it's weird that I'm complaining about it because it's not a bad thing,
right? But
it's just the nature of it. Like we watched everything that's on original programming.
We've reached the end of the internet.
So I watched a documentary about Antarctica instead, which is pretty good.
Is it shrinking?
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's fine.
BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, so I haven't watched the new season, which has been out for a couple weeks now, but I did watch the first season, and I had such a weird trip. I don't know how much you've watched.
I've seen like 3.
Okay.
I liked it.
Yeah, I was watching it, and I'm like, I like all the actors that are in it.
I love Amy Sedaris.
Amy Sedaris is fantastic, but the jokes were not landing for me. Like, it's just like, it just felt like kind of Like, it was okay. Like, clearly they were trying to make jokes and they were like sort of kind of funny, but like in a network TV kind of funny. And then slowly as the season progressed, it just got darker and more effed up in terms of like his life and how he wants to kill himself and like his relationship with this girl that he loves and she loves this other guy. It just got like super dark. And I got more interested as it went on because of that, because it felt so discordant with like the rest of the show.
Yeah.
But sort of similar to Black Mirror, because of that, it's been hard to like it's like watching Schindler's List again. It's been hard to like motivate.
No one's ever done that.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's hard to motivate after you've watched something that's like emotionally intense to like be like, oh, I'm gonna watch more of that.
It's a cartoon.
I know, but it's very dark.
All right, I guess I'll just have to take your word for it. Everyone I've talked to just it doesn't go through that emotional trip.
I don't know. It feels so light because the sense of humor is like very light and kind of a little bit dumb.
Yeah.
But then it just gets so depressing.
Huh. All right. I'll have to give it another go.
Yeah, give it another go.
Let us know what Netflix series you're obsessed with, because I feel like...
I think we named them all.
I know, right? It feels like it. But even though you feel like you hear about every single one, you turn around and then someone goes, oh, dude, you watched The Fall on Netflix? I'm like, no, what the fuck? Oh, it's Gillian Anderson.
Really?
Awesome. I'm like, what? I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah,
how's that even a thing? That's what's weird. That I feel like Netflix almost has a problem with that.
Discovery problem, yeah.
Yes, they have a definite discovery problem. And if I'm Netflix, I'm sorry, this is going to sound maybe crazy.
You're Mr. Netflix.
I'm the
Reginald
service.
Netflix.
I am the service personified.
Sure.
Call me Bartholomew Netflix. Okay?
Sure.
If I am that service, I put myself constantly streaming on like the Netflix channel. Okay, this is gonna sound.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
So within the Netflix service, you just have this channel that's always running.
And you don't. Okay, I like this idea.
Yeah.
So you're saying you turn on Netflix. You're like, I don't know what I want to watch. I guess I'll just put on the channel, and it's just like a programming that they've made, but you don't have to think about it, because that's the biggest problem. It's like I'm sitting there, I'm watching the
psychology of choice.
So like I can't decide what I'm going to watch. And a lot of people just want something on in the background.
I've been preaching this for as long as I can remember, and I know it goes against the evolution of consuming media, but I still think there's something like everyone mostly in the world who has not yet cut the cord has had some experience with watching standard TV where shit is just on.
Yeah.
And there's something kind of nice about that.
Here's my guess why it hasn't happened yet, because it's seemingly easy.
Well, it's probably because
I think it's a licensing problem, because you're essentially they pay, I think, per view, essentially.
Do they?
I think they do. I think that's how the pay scale.
Well, then you
work out a deal.
Well, then you just give everyone a fair amount of exposure.
Okay, and you do what Apple does, where it's like if you get surfaced on the App Store, they take a little bit of a percentage, and that acts as exposure for people to watch more.
I'm sure there's a diplomatic way to figure it out.
Yeah, and you would have channels for like comedy and drama.
Sure. And I don't say you get too granular, but I think you can really do it in a generalized way, where maybe you have like, even if there's one channel.
No, you can't do that.
Well, because then you can't have like...
It's just the discord of like, oh, someone just effed a pig, followed by BoJack Horseman, followed by Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to break them up into like three.
Yeah, and one of the channels could just be like weed documentaries, because there's about 30,000 weed documentaries.
There's a few of them. We get it. We know what it does. We know where
you're sitting on the couch. Yeah, you just want to watch weed documentaries.
We know where it's going.
This is what is on my table, and it's on my TV too, man. Whoa.
All right, take a break. Smoke them if you got them. We're going to have more 404 after this, including some stories about Apple TV, drones, and some more fun coming right your way. Stick around. Oh, Russ.
What?
I'm just trapped.
What? Where are you trapped?
I'm trapped in my inbox.
Oh, really? I thought it was like a glass case of emotion.
Yes, that is a metaphor for my situation.
Okay, fair enough.
Are you spending too much time on email? This is a major deal. Too much productivity lost, trapped inside the email.
Yeah, very impersonal.
The email. Well, guess what? Now there's a way to make it through your workday and not waste any more time drudging through that antiquated technology known as email. Now there's HipChat. HipChat is a game-changing team communication app that helps all of your teams work together more effectively, gets you the information you need faster than email, better than email, and reduces meaningless face-to-face meetings. You're going to make decisions and work much quicker with group chat, video chat, and file sharing. It's going to keep all of your teams connected no matter where they are in the world. HipChat is a great solution for remote work, letting you bring the office to you wherever you go. It's easy to use and gets everyone working at the same time. Guess what? Right now, 404 listeners can get 90 days of HipChat Plus, that's the premium service, for free. You get features like unlimited file storage, unlimited message history, and guaranteed support free for 90 days. Get your team started right now using HipChat Plus today. Visit hipchat.com/the404show. That's hipchat.com/the404show. Hey, welcome back to the 404 show. I have plenty of Netflix stuff to watch now, so I'm very excited about that.
I know, there's a long list.
Tell us about this drone traffic control story.
Okay, so I think a lot of people are aware that Amazon has this grand plan. They released about a year ago this video of a drone flying off, picking up your package at their warehouse, flying into the sky, landing at your door, dropping the package, and leaving.
Seems like the most impractical thing ever, though.
It did seem outrageous, but if you think about it, if, there's like a house that's like 300 miles from anywhere and you had a drone that can make it, isn't that a lot cheaper and money saving compared to, driving someone out there?
I guess, but it's also like, man, that drone is kind of vulnerable on its way in and out.
Okay, so right? A drone gets shot. Think of the amount of money that potentially they would lose on drones getting shot down by crazy people versus the amount of money they're spending on gas and employing people. I'm not saying it's good because it will cut down on like jobs.
I'm sure their losses are less with the drone.
Here's what I'm saying. When I go into CVS and it doesn't have the auto checkout, I leave immediately.
Do you really?
Almost always.
You're like, what's this? What? People?
I cannot deal with it anymore. I'm done dealing with people. They are much slower than robots. So let's solve the problem.
In that application, yes.
Yes, and I think for drones as well, that's the future.
Okay.
So Amazon, in order to make this actually a reality, sort of needs a lot of legislation passed to make it work. And one of the big parts is how are we going to have all these drones flying in the sky and not crashing into one another or in planes or what have you.
And then crashing into each other, then plummeting to Earth and hurting you.
You just put pillows on the bottom. It's easy. So Amazon is coming ahead and saying, we need a new air traffic control system for drones exclusively.
That sits below.
Yeah.
Well below the air travel plane.
A layer that's just for drones.
So you have, now I know there's like a helicopter height.
Sure.
Which is and that helicopter airspace is probably shared by like commuter planes.
What? No. That high?
Like the little propeller planes, like not the commuter plane.
Oh, you mean like a Cessna?
Like a single engine, like 2-3 passenger plane.
Like the Red Baron plane.
Yeah, Red Baron plane.
Red Baron.
So they want in on that.
They want in on that. The problem is there's like a lot of walls to prevent that from happening, not the least of which is like...
It's the sky. There are no walls.
There are no roads either. So the issue is obviously they need to get this passed. And you're right. The second that one of these things crashes and lands on someone or even lands like close to someone, that's deep trouble for drones.
Yeah.
And I don't could you make them out? I feel like you could probably make them out of something that like could like float safely to ground.
Oh my God.
No?
What are you talking about?
Because right now drones have this mode where like if the battery is getting low, they automatically just like slowly lower to the earth.
Oh, that's smart.
So that is a good start. I don't know. Feels like there's some options here.
So here's the thing. You could maybe do something where when it's like crashing, it makes a noise so people can like
if it's legit crashing, no one's getting out of the way. They're gonna be like, what's that noise? In face.
Yeah, this is not, I mean, you're telling me there's gonna be an entire network of drones flying 1,000 feet above everyone's heads.
Yeah. And who's owning this network? Like Amazon can't own it because that's like
it just can't do
deeply concerning and like one more step closer to Cyberdyne.
Right now, I just don't understand a world where this works. I'm not saying it can't, but right now...
It seems like it's more likely that we'll just have self-driving cars that do this, and they just like launch packages at doors.
Like Paperboy?
Yeah. I think that's more likely. Because I don't know. You're right. Like that's why flying cars never happen.
Right. Well, flying cars also never because you would a
lot of logistics.
You would have to basically rewrite the entire
Earth
transportation infrastructure.
Sure. I don't know. Drones are pretty smart. They could probably not crash into things.
Yeah, I mean the sky's pretty big.
Yeah.
Who knows? But this is an interesting story.
Thank you.
A lot of roadblocks or sky blocks.
Sky blocks. They're called
sky blocks. Yeah. We talked briefly about Apple TV before the break. What's going on with Apple TV?
So Apple TV is rumored to come out this September, a new version of Apple TV, which a lot of people are like, who cares?
The box, not the TV.
Box. Yeah, not an actual TV. The box.
That's apparently never going to
But even then, people are like, who cares? There's been a bunch of these boxes. They're just like a set-top Roku equivalent.
Exactly. Kind of nothing special anymore.
Sure. But what people are saying is that the new Apple TV is actually much more involved than that. And effectively, it's more like an iPhone 6 in a box that you plug into your TV. And
which is way more powerful than an Apple TV.
I mean, there's essentially no processor in a current Apple. I mean, there is one, but it's like it runs Netflix. Like it's that involved. There's really nothing going on in the current Apple TV. If you throw an iPhone 6 and plug it into your TV, what that is Apple launching a gaming console effectively. Like,
well, so here's the thing.
Because all the apps would theoretically support it.
Right, but how are you controlling it with the touch?
So good question.
With your iPhone.
Yeah, so I don't, potentially with your iPhone, although I think that's clunky and most people would just use their iPhone. I think what you would see if that actually happens is a bunch of new games that are released specifically for use with a controller and a bunch of old games that are redone to work with a controller. And now you're asking, are people going to bother buying a controller? Probably not, unless Apple, as the remote for this Apple TV, it doubles as a game controller. And suddenly you have a game console where, I buy a game for $60. Here, Apple is selling a new game for $1 or free.
And then you have like what Ouya wanted to be.
Right. But it's Apple, so they have Apple's legwork and like full development support. It's pretty interesting. I think it's going to be...
I mean, we've speculated about this before.
Yeah. I mean, just Apple really like going whole hog into the idea of like doing this. I would buy one, honestly, pretty quickly if that's what it is. And I think given that it's effectively an iPhone 6 with no screen and no touch controls.
But here's the deal.
Cheap. You can get that like $150.
No.
$200.
No.
More? It's going to be old hardware by then. The iPhone 6S will be out, so it's going to be older hardware.
But like still, that's got to be at least $200.
Okay, maybe $199. I can see $199.
So if I'm paying $199,
and then you can get the step down one that's just the Roku box for $100.
Right, but if I'm paying $199,
yeah,
I'm like, and I'm playing these cheap games that aren't giving me. Look, I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate here,
sure,
because I think these two game trajectories are operating on different octaves. You know what I mean? Like, I think you have console stuff.
Sure.
That now, you think that would be like a legitimate competition to this? Or do you think like this is only in its own arena?
I think it's a legitimate competition, if only because I think there are kids growing up now that all day, every day, they play on their iPhone. And if they were given a choice, like, hey, do you want to buy an Xbox One or do you want to buy an iPhone or an iPhone for your TV? They might buy an iPhone.
They might. I don't know because I always would think like, an 8-year-old just wants to do Minecraft on their phone or whatever.
Yeah, but maybe they want to do it on the TV too.
But yeah,
and they don't have to rebuy the game.
Right,
already.
And it just transfers because it's the same platform.
I mean, this is all speculation. We don't know for sure this is where they're going, but I would be shocked if they didn't.
It's surprising that Apple really hasn't done this yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they've been focused on like watch stuff, and I don't know. It is surprising though. It seems weird that the apps haven't. Every time a new platform comes out, it's just weird that the apps are so split. Where it's like, oh, now there's Apple Watch apps, and now there's iPad apps, and App Store apps that are like just for desktop. It just seems weird that they're not more unified.
Right.
And this might be their solution for doing that.
I don't know how it's all going to shake out.
Yeah.
But I would definitely be interested to see how Apple uses their unique philosophy with all this.
I just want to see an Apple controller. Like, I'd be really interested to see what Apple would do with a game controller.
Definitely. Even though that's like such an antiquated idea for them because there's no touch stuff and it's all
use
buttons.
your mind to control magic.
Speaking of games that probably can run on your iPhone 6,
sure.
Tell us about N++. I remember N+.
Yeah, so N++, it was featured on Product Hunt, which is where I work. Visit producthunt.com for all your, various cool things. Check it out.
Sure,
cool
that's
site.
the tagline of the site, is it not?
It is. And we actually had the developers at Product Hunt Games, the makers of N++, a team called MetaNet, which is really just two people in Toronto.
Right.
We had them on to do an AMA this week. And the game is essentially a platformer. It's a 2D platformer where you play as a ninja and you have 1.5 minutes of life. And the only way to extend that life is by collecting gold. But it's really just like a super, super hard platformer, kind of like a Super Meat Boy if you played that.
It's very hard.
It's very hard.
I feel like we're not even explaining well enough how impossibly hard this game is.
I mean, it's not impossibly hard, but it's difficult. It's certainly up there. And I love these games. These are like totally my kind of genre.
Yeah.
Because I love just like beating my head against the wall and then finally getting it.
Because that's what you're going to do with this game. You're going to smash your head into a wall.
Yeah, probably. You will die many, many times. But I feel like there are people that like that sadomasochism kind of thing.
They're just total, sadists.
It's also really good for same system co-op, which I think a lot of people are desperate for.
Okay. Couch co-op?
You can do couch co-op with 4 players, and there's like race modes and stuff like that. I love this game. It's funny that you say that it could run on an iPhone. It's actually surprisingly intensive graphically. Like you couldn't run it on a Vita.
Really?
Because they're running it at like 16 times like any aliasing and all sorts of stuff like that.
Okay, so there's a lot of like graphic effects and stuff like that.
And it runs at 60 frames, really smooth, and like it is deceptively heavy. But it's a very cool game if you dig platformers. You could check it the AMA out on Product Hunt or just download it. It's on PlayStation 4 right now.
Yeah, it came out this week. I played, I want to say maybe 10 levels, and I was like, all right. I like it. I played the first one.
Baby Jeff.
I played N+ on the 3DS or the 2DS.
Oh, terrible.
What was it on? The DS.
The DS, yeah. Not a good version of it.
Yeah. But it's definitely it's cool because you're gonna look at it and you're like, what the hell is this dinky little game? But then you realize like, oh man, it's hard and really cleverly.
And if you're
designed.
looking for a good party game, it's actually pretty good for that.
All right, check it out. N++. You can check out the I was gonna say Reddit, the AMA over at Product Hunt. So I kind of gotten into this new. It's not a new type of music. It's been around for a while.
Okay.
And I only recently kind of found the right maybe genre, the right label.
Okay.
The label I guess the catch-all label they're using for it is called Vaporwave.
I don't care for that.
You're not a fan of that label?
It seems a little marketing douche.
Yeah, it's definitely a douchey label, and I don't go around telling people I listen to Vaporwave
Well,
music.
You're doing that right now to many people.
Except right now. I got into this guy called Com Trues.
Okay, cute.
Yeah, who does this, like, the first time I heard this music, I was like, oh, man, so he's taking, like, the music from Beverly Hills Cop.
Sure.
And he's tweaking it, and he's like, honoring that tracking issue, sort of like fast, slow cassette running out of batteries, weirdness, all while creating new beats with that arsenal of like phonic range you had.
Okay, so is he actually sampling or is he making?
So he's not sampling, he's doing stuff. So I've been listening to Com Trues for a while.
Okay.
If you've watched the movie Drive, a lot of that soundtrack is like that 80s synth inspired sort of stuff.
Real human being.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's all basically like, why is this new music cut out of a 1984 cheesy movie?
Totally.
And now there's a real new wave of these artists coming up with this 80s influenced style of music.
Sure.
And I came across one that I really like, and I just want to play it for a little bit because we can probably only get away with like 30
we're going
seconds.
to talk about it editorially, so it's fine.
Right. And because we do that editorially, we do have this freedom to do that,
Yes.
to play music that maybe we don't have the rights to. But I'm sure this guy would love us to play this and then tell you where you can go buy this.
Yes.
So the artist I just want to sample for everyone right now is called Street Cleaner.
Okay.
And the song is called Nightlife.
Okay.
And it just gives me this like Vice sort of, almost like Vice City kind of vibe. Hotline Miami,
sure.
that kind of thing. You can go to streetcleaner.bandcamp.com.
Okay.
And
traditional spelling.
Right. Pay for this guy's record. It's really good. It came out late last year, but I just want to play a little sample.
You got to lead into it like you're a disc jockey, though.
All right. New one from Street Cleaner. This one's called Nightlife. Oh, welcome Mercedes to the stage. Mercedes. See, like, only that, like, a lot of those sounds are basically Axel Foley stuff.
Yeah, that synth drum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I crazy, or I just love this so
great.
much?
It's great. I do feel like I need a pastel suit and to be doing rails right off this table.
I don't know. It doesn't make me want to do cocaine.
But that's the image.
Yeah.
Is like, it is. It's a Miami Vice like culture.
Like, I feel like.
But this is new. Like, you can hear the like. Yeah, like more modern.
It's a little more complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I like it.
It's very good. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these guys now, but the Street Cleaner guys, the one dude that I think is doing it in a way that I haven't really heard that much before. Yeah. It's pretty damn good.
I'm gonna cue that up on Spotify. I'm sure.
I don't know if it's on Spotify.
It's too new for Spotify.
I don't know if it's. I think Mr. Street Cleaner maybe thought it was like not worth it.
Real? Oh yeah, because the returns are not good. But Mr. Street Cleaner doesn't really have a career, does he?
I don't know. He might. He's from San Diego, and I don't even know if it's a he or she. But you know,
Street Cleaner. There you go.
Yeah, you found
on Spotify. One word. Street Cleaner. Godflesh.
Nope. No, I don't know if that's the same.
So here's a band that came out. This band came out in 1989. It's an album called Street Cleaner by Godflesh.
Huh.
I wonder if it sounds like that. Maybe that's the inspiration for the new Street Cleaner.
So what's really cool is like a lot of these. I'm not going to say Vaporwave anymore. I'm going to say these retro synth 80s inspired musicians.
Yeah.
They're obviously inspired by those movies and the culture of the 80s.
Sure.
So this guy, Street Cleaner, tries to tell like a story. You know, like there's a motorcycle chase, and then there's like a shootout.
Wait, when did he tell this story?
Through the music tells that story.
When did it do that?
Not maybe. I think this was like driving. Like this was like the driving scene.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where
sure.
Like
could you come to the same story? Like if two people listen to the same song, would they know the same story? Or is it just like intuition?
I really believe you can tell a story just with sound.
I think you can too.
And I think
like that time when he went down to Georgia and he had a violent battle.
That went down to Georgia. No,
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
and with stuff like this, especially with scores, like you can easily tell heightened scenes of action.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really love this stuff, and I wanted to give some love towards Street Cleaner's way.
For a second, I thought you were going to Rickroll me, but it really does actually turn into a song.
Oh, no, it's a real song.
But that intro is the exact same intro. I like it. I do actually like it. Unfortunately, I have to search Vaporwave to find more of this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to do that. There's a lot of ones on Spotify. Kavinsky has that famous one from Drive.
Okay. And Com Trues, you said?
Com Trues is really good. He's all over Spotify.
Okay.
We and even like the 404 opening theme song is cut from that cloth a little bit. A little bit of an inside story here. We were in touch with Com Trues to get him to do our new theme song, and I just think the dude wanted so much money. And
did he?
We were just like, oh my god. I think we.
You want to quote him?
I'm not gonna say how much, but like we had a number, and he wanted 10 times that number. So
was he like Did he have a career when you reached him?
He's big time.
Okay.
He's big time.
Sure.
And he's great and he's
and
very
what does he
talented.
play? Does he play like raves or do like
I don't so
what
that's
is
the
thing?
Venue? Like this is where I don't get, and it's not a generational thing because there are people who go out and like watch a DJ perform.
Yes.
Like if you go see Skrillex,
I've
what the hell are you doing?
I've gone once. It was a press event and I was in Ibiza and they took us to a Tiesto.
Yeah.
And I had never in my life heard or seen anything like a DJ like only concert.
Like a DJ concert, yeah.
And in all honesty, I just got really effed up and had a great time.
Right.
But I think that's the only way. You can't just like stand there sober and stare at the stage and have a good time.
So that's my thing. Like,
well, maybe you can if you're like dancing and stuff. I don't know.
Those concerts those shows are parties. Yes. Where like you go
if there's foam shooting out of cannons.
Yeah, there's lasers and balloons and shit. Yeah. If and I get it, and I'm not taking anything away from any of these people. Sure. They're talented. Like I kind of really like Girl Talk too, which is this mashup DJ.
Yeah, different situation. There's more to look at.
I feel like Girl Talk maybe I don't know if he does that stuff live. If he does,
I think he does.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he does. I remember years ago I saw him.
But like a guy who just sort of a guy or girl is just sort of doing one thing. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not taking anything away. I don't want anyone to hate mail me. But like if I'm going to see a concert with a band, I'm like I want to watch that drummer do that song live because I don't believe he can do it live because it's so awesome. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at
like
their
just
fingers.
seeing someone like using a touchpad is like
I mean a guy holding up a headphones with his shoulder. Like I get it. I get it.
We know you're getting laid later.
Yeah, your MacBook's awesome. Okay, you put a really dope ass decal on your MacBook, dude.
I have a kitty.
Right. All right, we're going to finish things off with the weirdest thing I've heard of all week. Just what the hell is this story, Russ? You creep.
Real animal stories.
It's a real animal story.
Maybe that's a new segment we can do on the show. I was looking around and I saw this story popped up in my news feed. And the story, actually the headline is just spectacular. It's on livescience.com. And the headline is... Python eats porcupine, regrets it later, and in parenthesis, here's why.
I don't think I need to like read this. I think I know why.
So I thought the same thing. If you click through the link, you can see there's this python here, and he has eaten a porcupine, and it looks like the body of a teenage boy.
Yeah, it's like massive.
It's massive. It's like... And not like a svelte teenage boy, like he, has
husky.
He's been teased a little.
He's just a husky boy.
Husky boy. So apparently this python went ahead, ate a porcupine.
Ill-advised,
not recommended. And a cyclist actually spotted this after he ate the porcupine.
So he just saw this like car that wound up being a snake.
And porcupines are large, as you recall. Like they're not hedgehog size. They're the size of like two cats stuck together, and they've been eating a lot.
That's how you. That's how you draw
an anteater. I don't know what
an armadillo.
The common maybe like
an armadillo. No,
much bigger than an armadillo.
A porcupine's bigger than an armadillo.
Armadillo is like the size of like a hedgehog. Well, maybe like two hedgehogs.
I'm not sure we know how large a hedgehog is.
A hedgehog is like.
It's the size of like a can of tuna.
Like a squirrel. No, bigger.
A hedgehog's not bigger than it's bigger than a squirrel.
No, it's not. No. I had a hedgehog growing up. I had it as a pet.
Oh.
It was terrible. Terrible pet.
It sounds like it.
Wouldn't recommend it. Anyway, so the snake eats this porcupine. A cyclist spots it. It's like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Later on, the park rangers find the python dead.
Oh, no.
But they can't figure out whether...
Who killed who?
No, whether the python died from eating the porcupine, which seems likely, or falling off a ledge. Apparently, they found it at the bottom of like right next to a cliff.
Oh, that's so weird.
And they think it might have fallen. And when it fell, the spines in the python's body like poked out and like pierced it.
That's
because apparently they eat porcupines on the reg, but it's not an issue, or just like the spines like sit in their body.
I don't know.
Do they poop them out?
Why are pythons eating porcupines?
That's what they do. If you could eat a porcupine, wouldn't you eat it?
No. It's like, oh, can I eat a pine cone?
I would think it'd be discouraging. I would also say if it was me, I would probably eat it like a taco and leave the taco shell and just eat the inside.
I would depine it.
Yeah, but but he doesn't have hands.
It's just like, oh, what's that? A cactus with feet? Let me eat that.
Well, the inside, you just flip it around. That's what I would do. Is just flip it around, and just
it seems like
the soft.
It just seems like a porcupine should not be the natural prey for an animal.
I don't know if it's the default prey, but if you're a hungry python, you see this thing that's like walking around. It's like, oh, I could probably eat that. Maybe it was a python dare,
and he's just like. He lost. He paid the ultimate price.
Well, he had to go through with it. It was either that or like French kiss his like brother, python.
Henry the python paid the ultimate price.
So yeah, I was surprised. It's cool to see that pythons can do that, and it's unfortunate to see that they really can't in hindsight.
It's the way snakes eat stuff is pretty stupid.
Yeah, it does not. It's mostly because it's like, oh, you're gonna eat something that like severely limits your ability to move afterwards.
Yeah.
Which I guess we do too.
No way.
If you go to Thanksgiving dinner, you're not going for a run after.
I guess, but it's not like I don't become noticeably larger.
Yeah, but they don't really like. There's nothing preventing it.
It's like just funny that they're like, I'm a snake and I just have to eat everything whole and I just have to one bite everything.
But then they could like take a week off from eating. Like if you could be sated by eating once a week, wouldn't you do that? Totally.
It's just so gross because it's just got to sit there and decompose in your snake body.
Yeah. Ugh. That actually reminds me of something. Ugh. Have you seen the movie Anaconda?
Yeah.
Okay, so
is that with Ice Cube?
Ice Cube is in it, and John Voight in his greatest role.
And Jennifer Lopez. So John Voight, spoiler alert, gets eaten by the anaconda at one point. Yeah.
Later on in the movie, Jennifer Lopez is getting attacked by the same anaconda, and it vomits out John Voight. Fine.
Partially digested.
Ugh. He's covered in like digestive juice.
Ew.
Fine, weird, unexpected. Even weirder, he falls.
Angelina Jolie comes right behind him.
He falls to his knees, looks at Jennifer Lopez, and winks at her.
Ugh. What is the? I can't believe this.
And it's never again addressed in the movie. Like
what, that he
whether
winked at her?
Is he alive? Why did he wink? What happened? It's never again addressed, and it's so vexing to me. Is he dead? If he wasn't dead, well, wouldn't you reference it with like a scene of him in the hospital at the end, being like, "Man, that was a close call with that snake when I got eaten."
Oh God,
it's so confusing. Gross. If anyone knows the truth behind that scene, please fill us in on the subreddit because I'm really desperate.
Well, I'm hungry. Yeah, I don't know about you.
Good time for a meal.
Good time for a meal. And I guess a good time to end the show.
Good time to die.
It's a good time to get partially digested by a gigantic python.
You know what, Jeff, is also a good time for?
What's that?
It's a good time to rate and review the 404 podcast, which you can do on iTunes. You can just give us 5 stars. You don't have to write anything. If you want to write something, that's cool too. It's a big help to us because it increases the rating system. It makes the 404 go up in the rankings and all that junk and gets more listeners. And the more listeners we have, the more money we have to spend on colorblind fixing sunglasses, which is really cool. And
how about this? Do you have another thought?
Oh, I was also going to say you can subscribe to the podcast if you want to do that too.
As you should be doing. And here's another thought. It's the summer, right?
Yeah.
You're going on road trips. You're going to the beach.
Totally.
Hey, you've got friends, don't you?
You do.
Why don't you do this?
Yeah.
You're taking a trip to the beach.
Sure.
It's an hour drive.
Yeah.
You tell your friends, hey, why don't you let me drive and I'll play a podcast for you on the way down. Have some good times. Listen to some two dudes talking about stuff,
various things,
right?
Snake-upines.
Why don't you try that? Why don't you put that in your pipe and smoke it for a little bit?
It seems like a good scenario. I like that scenario.
Right? So do that. Spread the love.
I feel like they're driving in a Woody.
A what?
A Woody, a wood-paneled surf car.
Oh.
They're called Woodies.
I'm learning a lot today.
Yes.
With your seltzer-loving,
porcupine
eating personality. So do that. Try that out. Be that guy.
Yep.
Suggest the podcast.
Be that guy.
And everyone's going to be like, oh, God, Jeremy, you and your podcast.
Typical Jeremy.
You're you're such an inconvenience. We wanted to listen to Walk the Moon the whole way down. Well, guess what?
What, the Police song?
Huh? No, Walk the Moon sings that, shut up.
Oh, yeah. I like that song. You can listen to that, too.
You listen to that in between.
Yeah, that's a nice little break.
On the way back, listen to Walk the Moon. Going down, listen to our show. 866-404-CNET is our phone number. I think there might be an issue with that number, but as
Have you tried calling it?
I did. It seems to work.
Okay.
I don't know. Either way, get in touch with the show, the404 at cnet.com. Follow myself at Jeff Bacalar. You can follow Russ at Russ Frushtick. Easy enough for you. And we will be back next week with a brand new show. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay cool. It's hot out there.
It is.
Okay? And set your thermostat, at a responsible temperature.
Yeah.
I don't want any brownouts.
No.
All right?
No brownouts.
No brownouts.
Have a push.
What's that?
Have a push.
Have a push. No brownouts. We'll be back next week. Have a fantastic weekend. Until then, I'm Jeff Bacalar.
I'm Russ Frushtick.
This has been the 404 Show. High tech, lowbrow. See you soon.